Chapter 6: The Perfume and the Connection. Charlotte's perfume business was growing beyond what she had imagined. People loved her creations, they were unique, soft, and carried a certain warmth that commercial brands lacked. She began supplying small boutiques in nearby cities, and eventually, word spread further. One day, a major order came in from a high-end department store in the capital city, Ashford Department Stores. Charlotte stared at the email, her heart skipping a beat. Ashford. Of course, it was the Ashford family's chain. But it was a business opportunity too good to refuse. With a deep breath, she replied, agreeing to meet with their buyer in the city. Madison went with her. "Are you sure about this? What if you run into Adrian?" "The city is big, Maddie," Charlotte said, packing samples carefully. "And this is just a meeting with a buyer. It's business. I can handle it." But fate works in mysterious ways. Adrian was at the main office building that day, going over quarterly reports. The meeting room was booked for the perfume brand presentation. He wasn't supposed to attend, but the marketing director mentioned the brand name, the perfume of second chances, and Adrian found himself pausing. "That's an interesting name," he said. "Who is the creator?" "Her name is Charlotte Lancaster," the director replied casually. "She's from out of town. Makes artisanal sense. Very popular online." Adrian froze. Charlotte Lancaster. The name hit him like a physical blow. For a moment, he couldn't breathe. It had been over 5 years. He thought he would never hear her name again. "Charlotte Lancaster," he repeated, his voice sounding rough even to his own ears. "She is the one behind this brand." "Yes, sir. Should we cancel the meeting?" "No," Adrian stood up abruptly. "I want to attend. I want to see these products myself." Downstairs in the waiting area, Charlotte felt a strange sense of nervousness she couldn't explain. She adjusted her simple cream-colored dress, took a deep breath, and followed the assistant into the large conference room. At the head of the long table sat several executives. And at the very end, was Adrian. Time seemed to stop. Their eyes met. Adrian stood up slowly, his gaze sweeping over her. She looked different, more mature, her features softer. There was a confidence and lightness in her that hadn't been there before. She was still beautiful, perhaps even more so, but there was a warmth radiating from her that he didn't remember noticing so clearly before. Charlotte felt her heart race, but she kept her composure. She gave a polite, professional nod. "Mr. Ashford, I didn't realize you would be attending." Adrian found his voice. "Ms. Lancaster, it has been a long time. 5 years. 5 years of silence, of living separate lives." The air between them was thick with unspoken history. The meeting began. Charlotte presented her perfumes with grace and knowledge. She explained the inspiration behind each scent, the ingredients, the story behind the brand. As she spoke, Adrian found himself captivated. He saw a side of her he had never seen before, passionate, intelligent, confident. When she sprayed one sample, her signature scent, a mix of jasmine and vanilla, Adrian's breath caught. It was the same scent she had always worn. The scent he had tried so hard to forget. "This is beautiful," the head buyer said. "We would love to stock your line." "Excellent," Charlotte smiled. "Thank you very much." After the meeting, everyone else left, but Adrian remained. He stood by the window, looking out, his back to her. "You built this yourself?" he asked without turning around. "Yes," Charlotte replied, packing her samples away. "It started as a hobby. Now it supports my family." Adrian turned around quickly. "Your family? You were married then?" Charlotte hesitated for only a fraction of a second. "Yes. In a way. I have 3 children." Adrian felt a strange twist in his chest, something that felt like jealousy, though he couldn't understand why. 3. That's wonderful. You must be happy." "I am," she said softly, but with firmness. "Very happy." It was good seeing you again, Mr. Ashford. Goodbye. She walked out, leaving Adrian standing there, feeling a strange emptiness. 3 children. She had moved on, built a life, found happiness without him, and for reasons he couldn't explain, the knowledge hurt him more than he expected. Chapter 7: Serafina's Suspicion. Charlotte returned home that evening, her mind replaying the meeting. Seeing Adrian again had stirred up old feelings, but she quickly pushed them aside. She had her life here. She had her children. That was what mattered. But back in the city, Adrian couldn't get Charlotte out of his mind. He found himself thinking about her words, her smile, the way she spoke. He found himself searching online for her perfume brand, reading customer reviews, looking at photos of the products. Serafina noticed the change immediately. Adrian was distant, preoccupied. He seemed lost in thought more often than not. "What is wrong with you lately?" Serafina asked one night over dinner. "You haven't been paying attention to me. You seem distracted." Adrian shrugged. "Nothing. Just work. Work." She narrowed her eyes. "I heard from Mrs. Hale that the department stores are bringing in a new perfume line. Created by a Charlotte Lancaster. That wouldn't be your ex-wife, would it?" Adrian stiffened slightly. "Yes, it is her." Serafina's smile vanished. "She is back. In the city, selling things under her own name. Why didn't you tell me?" "It was just a business meeting," Adrian said calmly. She presented her products. "We agreed to stock them. That is all. Just business." Serafina laughed, but it was sharp and cold. "Adrian, I know you. You think about her. I can see it in your eyes. What is she planning? She comes back, starts selling to your company. Is she trying to get back into your life? Is she trying to take everything away from me?" "She is not planning anything," Adrian said, though deep down, a seed of doubt had been planted. Serafina had always been jealous. She has a family now. She is happy. She has moved on. Family. Serafina's eyes widened slightly. She remembered her investigator's report. He had said Charlotte lived alone. What family? Did she marry someone rich? Someone who can help her? "I don't know the details," Adrian said. "She just said she has children." Serafina's mind raced. Something wasn't adding up. Charlotte had left 5 years ago, seemingly alone. Now she suddenly had 3 children and a successful business. It felt too convenient. And she was selling to Adrian's stores. "I don't trust it," Serafina said firmly. "I want you to stop the deal. We don't need her products. There are hundreds of other brands." Adrian frowned. "The buyers loved it. The quality is excellent. It's good business." "Good business or not," Serafina leaned forward, her voice dropping dangerously low. "I don't want her anywhere near you or your company. I know women like her. She acts innocent, but she's cunning. She knows your weakness. She knows you once cared for her, even a little." Adrian stood up, his patience thinning. "You are being unreasonable. It is a contract. It is signed. It will proceed." That night, after Adrian fell asleep, Serafina left the bedroom and made a phone call. She spoke to her private investigator. "I want you to dig deeper on Charlotte Lancaster," she ordered quietly. "Everything. Her business. Her supposed husband. Those children. I want to know every single detail. And I want to know now." Meanwhile, in the cottage, the triplets were being their usual chaotic selves. Lucas and Leo were running around the living room while Lila was trying to braid the cat's fur. "Mommy, tell us the story about when you were little," Lila begged, climbing onto Charlotte's lap. Charlotte laughed, kissing the top of her daughter's head. All right. Once upon a time, there was a girl who loved flowers and mixing smells. She told them stories, but she never mentioned their father. She didn't want them to feel incomplete. They had love, food, a home, and a mother who adored them. That was enough. Chapter 8: The Investigation and the Scheme. Serafina's investigator worked quickly. Within a week, he had a full report on Charlotte's life over the past 5 years. He presented it to her in her apartment. "There is no husband, Ms. Hale," he said, handing over photos and documents. "She lives alone in that cottage with 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. No man lives there. No man is listed as the father on the birth certificates. The birth records were filed confidentially. The children are registered under her surname, Lancaster." Serafina stared at the photos. Her eyes went wide as she looked at a picture taken from a distance of the children playing in the garden. They were older now, 5 years old. And even from far away, the resemblance was striking. The shape of the faces, the dark hair, the build of the boys. "They look like him," Serafina whispered, a cold, sinking feeling settling in her stomach. "They look exactly like Adrian." "It's possible, ma'am," the investigator agreed. "The timeline fits. She left right after the divorce. 3 years of marriage, no children, and then suddenly 3 appear right after she leaves. And no father named. It's very suspicious." Serafina felt a surge of panic and rage. Triplets. Adrian's triplets. Hidden for 5 years. If Adrian found out, everything would change. He was wealthy. He was family-oriented, even if he didn't show it. If he discovered he had children, 3 children, he would want them in his life. And Serafina would be pushed aside. He might even go back to Charlotte for the sake of the children. That could not happen. What else? She asked, her mind already turning with plans. She sells her perfumes locally, and now she has the deal with Ashford department stores. She is becoming quite successful. And she has a man who visits occasionally. He helps her with deliveries and repairs. A man named Damien Voss. They seem close. Friends, it looks like, but there are rumors in the town that they might be more. Serafina smiled slowly, a cruel, calculating expression crossing her face. This was perfect. Damien Voss was a struggling handyman with a reputation for chasing money. Serafina knew exactly how to use him. She arranged to meet Damien in a private hotel room in the city. She presented herself elegantly, looking like a wealthy socialite. "Mr. Voss," she said, sliding an envelope filled with cash across the table. "This is just a down payment. There is much more where this came from." Damien's eyes lit up as he saw the money. "What do you want me to do?" "It's simple," Serafina smiled. "I need you to be seen very publicly with Charlotte Lancaster. I want photos of you holding her hand, visiting her cottage, looking like a happy couple. I want people to believe you are the father of her children. If anyone asks, you tell them exactly that. You tell them you've been together since before she left the city. Lie as much as you need to. And the rest of the money. When the story spreads, and reaches the right ears," Serafina purred, "you will get double this amount. Just make sure you make it look convincing. And if Charlotte tries to stop you, make it look like she's just being shy. Do not harm her, but do not let her deny it loudly." Damien, seeing easy money, agreed immediately. He had always liked Charlotte, but he also had debts to pay. He convinced himself he wasn't really hurting her, just creating a story. Meanwhile, the contract between Charlotte and Ashford Enterprises moved forward. The first shipment of perfumes was delivered, and sales began immediately. They were a hit. Customers loved the scents, and the brand gained popularity fast. Adrian received daily reports on the sales figures. Part of him was pleased for Charlotte, she had worked hard and deserved success. But another part of him was curious. Who was the man in her life? Who was raising those children? Caleb noticed Adrian checking the sales reports more than usual. "You keep looking at the numbers. You like her perfume that much?" Adrian looked away quickly. It's good business. Sure it is, Caleb grinned. Or maybe you're just interested in how she's doing. Mind your own business, Caleb. But Adrian couldn't deny it. He was curious. More than curious. Chapter 9 Pictures and Misunderstandings. 2 weeks later, the first pictures appeared. They were published in a tabloid magazine, The Ex-Wife Moves On, Charlotte Lancaster's Happy Family Life. The photos showed Damien helping Charlotte carry boxes, laughing near the garden gate, and one shot that looked like he was placing a hand on her shoulder as she helped him with a toolbox. The captions read, Charlotte Lancaster, former wife of billionaire Adrian Ashford, has built a new life. Sources confirm she is happily partnered with local businessman Damien Voss, who is believed to be the father of her 3 children. The photos and the story spread quickly. Serafina made sure they were sent directly to Adrian's office, to his mother, and to everyone in their social circle. Adrian saw the magazine while waiting for a meeting. He picked it up, his jaw tightening as he saw the images. There was Charlotte, looking happy and relaxed with another man. The man was rough-looking, nothing like Adrian, but he seemed comfortable around her. Father of her 3 children, the caption read. Adrian felt a strange, sharp pang in his chest. Was it jealousy? Anger? He wasn't sure. But the thought of Charlotte building a life with someone else, raising a family, being happy, when he had been alone with Serafina's drama for years, it stung more than he expected. Serafina found him looking at the magazine. She feigned surprise and sympathy. Oh, you saw it. I told you she moved on. Good for her, I suppose. Though it is a bit odd she never mentioned him before. Adrian closed the magazine and tossed it onto the table. It doesn't matter to me. But it did matter. He found himself thinking about it constantly. Even though he had no right to feel anything, he did. He felt betrayed, somehow. Even though he was the one who had asked for the divorce. The story also reached Charlotte. She was horrified when a neighbor showed her the magazine. This is a lie, Charlotte exclaimed, her face pale. Damien is just a friend. He helps me fix things around the house. That is all. Damien looked guilty. He hadn't expected the photos to become national news. Charlotte, I'm sorry. I didn't think they would print it like that. The photographer asked if we could pose for a few shots because my van broke down and he offered to help. I didn't know it was a setup. Charlotte frowned. She remembered the strange man with the camera. And she remembered Serafina. It all clicked into place. Serafina. This had her written all over it. I know who is behind this, Charlotte said grimly. Damien, someone paid you, didn't they? Someone offered you money to make it look like we are together. Damien's face fell. He couldn't lie to her. Yes, a woman named Serafina Hale. She said if I did this, she would pay off all my debts. Charlotte, I'm sorry, I was desperate. Charlotte sighed, shaking her head. I understand, Damien, but please, stay away from her. And tell everyone the truth. I won't be angry. Just tell them we are only friends. But the damage was done. The story was out there. And it eventually reached Adrian's family as well. Did you see this? Elena Ashford asked her son, slapping the magazine down on the dining table one Sunday. Your ex-wife has 3 children and a boyfriend. And she never said a word about it when she left. How convenient for her. Grandmother Clara picked up the magazine, looking closely at the photos. The children, look at them. They are 5 years old. That would mean, she looked at Adrian sharply. That would mean she was pregnant right before she left. Adrian froze. The thought hit him like a ton of bricks. The timeline. 3 years of marriage, no pregnancy, then divorce, then 3 children appearing exactly 9 months later. It was impossible, unless... No, Adrian said, shaking his head. The article says the father is that man. Damien Voss. She moved on quickly. That is all. But Grandmother Clara wasn't convinced. She had eyes like a hawk. She looked at the children's faces again. Look at the boys, Adrian. Look at their faces. Tell me honestly, do you see anything familiar? Adrian looked. And for the first time, really looked. The dark hair, the shape of the nose, the serious expression on Lucas's face, the mischievous glint in Leo's eyes. Even little Lila had the same curve of the chin. Adrian felt the blood drain from his face. Chapter 10. The truth begins to surface. Adrian couldn't sleep that night. Grandmother Clara's words echoed in his head. Do you see anything familiar? He looked at the photos again, magnifying them on his computer. The resemblance was undeniable. It was there, clear as day, even if he tried to ignore it. But the article said Damien was the father. Charlotte had said she had a family. She had moved on. But why hide it? Why never mention it? Caleb found Adrian the next morning, sitting in his office, staring at the photos on the screen. What's going on? Caleb asked, looking over his shoulder. Oh, those pictures of Charlotte. I saw them online. Caleb, Adrian said slowly, his voice rough. The children, do they look familiar to you? Caleb squinted at the image. Well, yeah, they look like, wait a minute. They look like you, Adrian. A lot like you. That's what I thought. Adrian leaned back in his chair, running his hands through his hair. But the article says the father is this Damien guy. Charlotte said she has a family. Why would she lie? Maybe she didn't, Caleb said gently. Maybe she was protecting them. From you. From Serafina. Think about it, Adrian. If she had told you she was pregnant, what would you have done? You were in love with Serafina. You were ready to leave Charlotte. Would you have believed her? Or would you have thought she was trying to trap you? Adrian fell silent. He knew the answer. If Charlotte had told him she was pregnant back then, he would have doubted her. He would have thought she was trying to stop the divorce, trying to secure money. He would have assumed the worst. And Serafina would have made her life a living hell. Caleb, Adrian said, looking up with determination in his eyes. I need to know the truth. I need to find out if those children are mine. How? I'm going to go there. To her town. I'm going to see her. I'm going to ask her directly. Before he could act, Serafina burst into the office, having heard from the staff what was happening. Adrian, what are you doing? You aren't actually going to go see her, are you? She has a man. She has a family. Leave her alone. I have questions, Serafina, Adrian said, his tone cold. And I will get answers. You're being foolish. She shouted. She left you. She didn't want you. Now she has another man. Why would you go looking for trouble? Because something doesn't add up. Adrian stood up, towering over her. And I want to know why you are so desperate to stop me from going. You arranged those photos, didn't you? You paid that man to pretend to be her partner. Serafina's face paled. I don't know what you are talking about. Don't lie to me, Adrian said, his voice low and dangerous. I've known you a long time, Serafina. I know when you are manipulating things. Stay out of this, or you will regret it. He left the office immediately, heading for the country. Caleb decided to follow him, just to make sure things didn't get out of hand. When Adrian arrived at Charlotte's cottage later that afternoon, he stood outside the gate, his heart pounding. He could hear children laughing inside. Then the front door opened. Charlotte stepped out, holding a basket of laundry. When she saw Adrian standing there, looking serious and determined, she froze. Behind her, 3 little figures peeked out, Lucas, Leo, and Lila, wondering who the tall stranger was. Adrian's eyes locked onto the children. He saw them clearly now, up close. There was no denying it. The resemblance was uncanny. They were his. Charlotte saw the realization dawn in his eyes. She knew, right then, that the secret she had kept for 5 years was about to come out into the open.